I'ma blow couple O's, then I'm cutting off my hose. Get a couple new B's after every go. Yeah, and let it blow. I'ma blow couple O's, then I'm cutting off my hose. Get a couple new B's after I got weed, I just told. Yeah, a nigga love smoke. Put my glasses, let it go. I'ma have to let it blow. Let go. I'ma have to let it blow.
Right, so that was the track. So let me go ahead and deconstruct the track for you, starting with the kick and the drums. I have a kick lined up here, and goes something like this. It's a pretty punchy kick with a very high transient on it. Then the next I have the drums, and I have used 3 open hats over here with combination of the claps. And if I zoom into the open hats, you would see that there is they are not on the beat. There is some shift that I've kept so that it sounds more manual rather than just very syncopated. So there is a bit of gap in here so that it sounds a bit groovy, and they sound like this. Another thing is, if you look at the hats, there are 3 different types of hats that I've used. One with a bit longer tail, one with a higher transient, and then a little bit of mix up that you can see here, the waves. And the reason I use these is it's giving me a very good washy sound. Yeah, so that's done. So that's kick and drum. For the bass line, I've kept it very simple. I have used the inbuilt transistor bass, and I have used the sequence 40 tart, and did some changes to the slides and the accent and the gate. And that's the bass over here, which sounds like this. So here's the bass. To add, then I have the sub bass assigned to it, and a bit of a top as well to the bass line. To drill into the bass lines, the mixer have gross beat on it. For sidechain purpose, I've just used simple gross beat and a bit of EQ and sound goodizer on it. And then you have on the tops, I have a shaper box just for a bit of a sidechain effect. And then you have sub bass, of course, with again a shaper box, same sidechaining effect. And then Filter Pro, which is cutting the frequency. You can keep it 18, 20. So I usually keep it around 20. I don't know why it's 18, but yeah, I keep it around 20 hertz at the low, and then 92 over here. And yeah, that's the bass line. Simple and 3-layered. So that comprises of 3, the whole drums, kicks, and the bass line, and they sound like this. And I have also added some tops for the mid-range. And then comes the main part is the vocals. Now let's look at the vocals. In vocals, I have used this good sample that I got in Loop Masters. So this goes something like this.
I got weed, I just told, put my glasses, let go. I got weed, I just told, put my glasses, let go.
The only thing that I did on this vocal here is
I got weed, I just told.
I've added some effect. I have a used Valhalla Supermassive with delay and a bit of 28 feedback. I've used the no presets and just pulled the mix down to 21. Valhalla Supermassive is a free tool from Valhalla. You guys can just go to their website and get it. It's pretty good tool for delay effects, and has a lot of presets that can be used off the bat. So yeah, try that one. Post which I have used a couple more FXs on the vocal. These are some reverbs and delay. So this is an inbuilt effector FX module by the FL Studio, and a bit of changes according to how they sound like.
I got weed, I just told, put my glasses, let go. I got weed, I just told.
I've used it, and it sounds pretty amazing, and the vocals are sounding pretty fuller, is what I think. And if you look at it, around about a minute or so, I have my introduction, the DJ intro, and then in the mini break, that's where everything comes up together, where I have my kick drums. I put an auto filter in my first small mini break, and that's where I introduce the vocal, and then actually the bass line comes in the first drop, something like this. And there is an auto filter that is coming in for the vocal, so that they just slide in rather than coming in abruptly.
I got weed, I just told, put my glasses, let go. I got weed, I just told, I'ma have to let it blow. I got weed, I just told, put my glasses, let go. I got weed, I just told, put my glasses, let go. I got weed, 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 I'ma have to let it blow.
Another thing you must have noticed is I've used these supportive plucks, and I have used Citrus for it. It's an inbuilt Citrus preset that I've used, like in fact a default one. Right, and just added 2 simple notes, and then the key of this song, this F sharp, and on the mixer, I have put in some parametric EQ, cut off the lows, and used this tool by Polyverse, Infected Mushroom Wider. This is a free tool again. It just gives a bit of stereo feeling to it, nothing fancy. And then of course, feel free, just use your imagination when you're using the FXs. I don't want to go through each and every FX.
I just told, put my glasses, let go. I got weed, 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 I'ma have to let it blow.
And when the drop comes in, of course, there is a reverse crash that comes in. And also, very faintly, there is this atmosphere that is going on in the background. This goes throughout the track, so that it just gives more a filling effect to the whole track and keeps on running, and it doesn't feel little quieter or silent, or you don't have, it fills up those empty spaces for us. Right, so that's until the first drop. Now let's go into the main breakdown. So as soon as the breakdown kicks in, I've used the sub drop, and in the break there is of course a down crash over here that fills in, and then of course some white noise that comes in, and then the vocal starts coming in through auto filter.
My hoes get a couple new beats off the fucking show. Oh, yeah, a nigga love to smoke. Put my glasses, let go. I'ma have to let it blow.
I've kept the white noise flowing in because I didn't want it to leave the higher frequencies empty. And then at the bottom I have this break bass line that is going on in F sharp. Nothing really fancy. For this one I have used Flex inbuilt feature called as a spatial fire. Made some changes to the filter and the cutoff and made it just sound like the way I want it to be. Now moving into the build up section, what I have used is really very simple, couple of long fills and razors here in the FX section. And then that brings the main drop, and that goes into the main drop. The main drop starts off with all the major elements that we had in the first drop in over here, and I haven't left anything behind. So I have used all the drums, all the tops, all the shakers, so that it sounds much fuller and much powerful than the first drop that comes in. With respect to that, to get more change on the track, I have used a couple of synth effects